What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? This is our future and our choice to make. I am asking you to choose greatness.
Welcome back to Real Trump News. Real news President Trump doesn't want you to miss. New York Post is reporting that a coalition of police unions and associations across the country is endorsing President Trump's re-election bid, recognizing his steadfast and very public support of law enforcement officers. The group's president, Michael McHale, wrote that our endorsement recognizes your steadfast and very public support for our men and women on the front lines, especially during this time of unfair and inaccurate opprobrium being directed at our member by so many. The group also praised Trump for directing Attorney General Bill Barr to aggressively prosecute those who attack our officers, a reference to ongoing nationwide protests against racial injustice in the aftermath of George Floyd's death, some of which have included violence against police officers. Fox News reported endorsement by the association, which met with Trump on Monday, comes after it did not back a candidate in the 2016 election. It did, however, support former President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden in both the 2008 and 2012 elections. The Washington Examiner writes that Democrats are moving a step beyond national debate over defunding the police, and 3 leading Democrats issuing statements over the past month that excuse or tolerate criminal acts. As some Seattle resident illegally seized several city blocks in June and christened the area the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, the Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan did not initially intervene. Instead, Durkan said Chaz was patriotic and that it could turn into a summer of love. In early July, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was asked about the destruction of statues nationwide when a reporter pressed her on one such toppling. The reporter asked, "Shouldn't that be done by a commission or the city council, not a mob in the middle of the night throwing it into the harbor?" Pelosi said, "People will do what they do." When asked this week about the rise in homicides in New York City, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seemed to justify crime, saying people were facing a level of economic desperation that had not been seen since the recession. She said, "Maybe this has to do with the fact that people aren't paying their rent and are scared to pay their rent, and so they go out and they need to feed their child and they don't have money. They feel like they either need to shoplift some bread or go hungry." Dr. James Allen Fox, professor of criminology, law, and public policy at Northeastern University, said violent protests are not made legitimate, even if the reason for protest is righteous. President Trump signed both the Hong Kong Autonomy Act and a related executive order last night, which will hold China and others accountable for their efforts to stifle the freedom and safety of the people of Hong Kong. Trump said, "We've all watched what happened. Not a good situation. Their freedom has been taken away, their rights has been taken away, and with it goes Hong Kong. These actions are a blatant violation of China's promise to Great Britain that it would keep Hong Kong free and open until the year of 2047. President Trump said, "No administration has been tougher on China than this administration." He's right. From day one, these important actions have included placing hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs on Chinese goods to confront unfair trade practices, launching a Section 301 investigation into China's intellectual property abuses, protecting U.S. national security by placing tariffs on steel from abroad, stopping federal retirement investment in problematic Chinese companies, halting U.S. funding to the World Health Organization in response to its dangerous bias toward China on coronavirus. Lastly, Fox News is reporting that New York Times opinion columnist and editor Bari Weiss announced Tuesday she is leaving the Great Lady, saying she was bullied by colleagues in an unliberal environment, weeks after declaring there was a civil war inside the paper. In her resignation letter, Weiss noted that her own foray into wrongthink had made her the subject of constant bullying by colleagues who disagree with her views. She wrote, "They have called me a Nazi and a racist." And that's this week's Real Trump News. We will see you next time.